with your hosts, Andrew Romanella.
I legitimately watched the entire women's triathlon the other day. I gotta tell you, that was exhilarating stuff. But I was locked in because what's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome into another edition of the Rome Show here on 12OutSports.com. Broadcast on Dingo TV channel 217. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. We are with you till 7:30, as we are every single day on 12OunceSports.com. I want to remind you to get us on the social media, The Rome Show 1, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You could probably also get that on TikTok at The Rome Show 1. You know the deal, the radio station, 12OZ Sports. Follow us on all the social medias. Yeah, that's awesome stuff. Great lineup on the show. Head to the website, check it out. We got some football. We got some Major League Baseball. We have some NIL. That's where we're going to start today because I saw a story this morning that really, really disturbed me. And it's been pretty much a topic on the road recruiting all summer. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know what? I don't know if we've had enough conversation on this topic on the Rome Show to give the people an idea of what's kind of the current landscape of college athletics. And I got a few tweets or Instagram quotes that I'd like to put up for the people. If you notice some different things on the studio, we are working our way into a new era of the Rome Show, and we are very excited about that. I give myself a 6 right now on my first day. Thought I had the intro locked in, didn't. This is why you work hard to get better. So by Monday, we'll be locked. But I hope you notice some awesome differences on the Rome Show and all of the great shows we have on 12OunceSports.com. Some really cool stuff. So without further ado, we're going to get into the show, and we're going to start today with a little bit of a straight off the Rome. All right. So this morning, as I've told you many times before on this program, we like to scroll through the Twitter sphere to see if our preparation for the show lines up with what we'd like to talk about, or what's on Twitter in the morning. What's being talked about is what I should be saying. So you'll see it scrolling on the bottom there. I want you to give me your thoughts on the name, image, and likeness in college football. So here's your story that really fired me up this morning. According to reports, the starting quarterback at Colorado State and the starting quarterback wide receiver at Colorado State, both were offered nearly $600,000 each of NIL money to enter the transfer portal. Okay, so obviously the sports world we are living in now, especially at the college level, you understand that money is a big factor in all of these college sports. There's just no doubt about it. Okay. And at these big Division I schools, for the most part, they are making the difference in their recruiting by being able to offer NIL money. For anyone that might not know what NIL is, it's essentially a player at the college level can make money off of their name, their image, or their likeness. Something that never used to be able to happen. Easiest example, NCAA football, which has now made a triumphant return. But when it was originally made, played, and a hit, late 90s, early 2000s, you didn't have names of players in the game. It was QB1, QB2, right? Because there was no name, image, and likeness. There was no players allowed to make money off themselves. That was illegal. That's the Reggie Bush controversy with the Heisman. He got paid to go to USC. That was improper benefits. He should not have been eligible to play in those given seasons. That is it right there. That's NIL. And that's why the Reggie Bush Heisman thing became such an interesting situation, because he had his Heisman removed for getting improper benefits while he's sitting on his couch watching Caleb Williams make mills before he even entered the National Football League. Okay? So NIL has changed the game. But what people don't realize is it's also ruined the integrity of college sports. That's just a fact. And NIL has ruined college sports so much from the standpoint of integrity, respect for your coaches and your program, right? Staying loyal. Those things are kind of out the window for a lot of people. And that's why this Colorado State story is interesting. And what people don't understand is even little old me, who is a Division III baseball coach, has to deal with this NIL situation or this transfer portal situation to a degree. And it's a double whammy, right? It's the fact that the transfer portal is available now, so any kid can leave any school they want, whenever they want. Like that, gone. I'm going to this school. You get one free transfer no matter what. And then the second thing is the NIL, because now me going to X school that maybe can give me $500,000 in NIL, or me going to Y school, maybe X school is a little bit better or worse. I have no idea. Let's say Y school offers $1 million, but they were 7-6 last year, and X school offers $250,000, but they were 9-1 last year. You're probably going to Y school, $1 million, 7-16. Because you can't guarantee that you're going to make it to the league after this. So if you can get a little bit of a bag while you're in college, you have to do that. That is NIL. That is why college athletics is not amateur anymore. It's not what it used to be. And so Colorado State, I see this morning, and it got me fired up. I see this morning that Colorado State players were offered money to go into the portal. Not just like come to a school, which obviously they would probably eventually end up going to that school, but entered money to enter the transfer portal. That is disturbing to me in so many levels, but it is nice to know that there are some dudes out there in college sports that understand how hard this is for a coaching staff, how hard this landscape is to navigate. And I understand all the devil's advocates as to why we've gotten here. Oh, if coaches can get up and pick up and leave whenever they want, why can't players? Right? Why is it that when a player transfers, they have to sit out a year? Those are the old rules. Those are the two most biggest things I've heard. Oh, the third one for the NIL. Oh, well, if the school's making money off the player, why can't the player make money off themselves? Those are the three biggest ones. And the last one I agree with the most. I will never, ever, ever argue players getting paid for their name, their image, or their likeness. That makes plenty of sense to me. But we have transitioned into a world now where there is no loyalty to anyone. None. And if you think about it, it's sad because the foundation of college sports is gone. D3 head coach, best player, can decide, I'm going to enter the transfer portal and go see if I can be a D1 or a D2 player. Thanks for the 2 years at your institution. D1 kid doesn't like his standing. I'll see you later. I'm going to this school. D1 kid's not making enough money at this school. He might be playing, might be the best player in his conference, might be the best player on the team, might be the best player in the country from that school, but that school's still not providing him enough money, so he'll leave them and go to them. It's impossible to be a coach at any school that is not in the SEC, the Big Ten. That it's impossible. The ACC, it's impossible to be. If you're not a Power 4 school coach, you're not a person in this world of college sports anymore. Essentially, all you're doing is you are working your way to you. All you're trying to do is save the people that you can on your roster. You're re-recruiting, as you can see on the screen. The head coach at Colorado State, Jay Norvell, said, we're doing all we can to make sure we can fight off a lot of these wolves that are trying to poach on our roster. All they can. He's doing all they can. So that to me is a very eye-opening statement right there. That guy is not really worried about fully getting ready for the next season, just recruiting the next crop of freshmen, seeing what transfers they can add. Because adding transfers has always been a thing. It's just way different now. No, he's worrying about people taking his players. I just believe that's super embarrassing. And it's honestly, it's not fun. Like, I don't enjoy this era of college sports, and I'm in it, right? And I'm a low-level person. I'm a head coach at a Division III school. I understand all of those things. But I had someone walk up to me this year where one of my players was playing summer ball for them. And this is, like, in theory supposed to be a compliment, but it's not, because it's disturbing. He's like, hey, man, in 2 years, that player, you might be having to stop him from leaving. And it's like, think about that landscape now. You recruit these kids. You spend time, hours, months. The amount of energy it takes to recruit a singular player to an NCAA institution, let alone an institution that doesn't have scholarship money, is considered not a top 1,000 athletic institution in this country. You spend all that time, I mean hours. Like, if you counted up my staff schedule, 3 of us this summer, from June 1st to literally this coming up Sunday, because our guys are still on the road this weekend, you're talking almost 120 some days of recruiting. And that's not, well, how do you get to 120, Andrew? June 1st to September 1st isn't even 120. No. Because the amount of double days, I'm here, he's there. The amount of phone calls, the amount of ignoring you get. Like, I don't think people understand the physical, mental, and emotional toll that goes into recruiting. And by the way, that is 99% of the country. Like, this guy at Colorado State has plenty of people that want to play football there, but he doesn't have people at all. He has to go find the ones that will help him win, because the ones that want to play at your school and the ones that you need to find are not the same. Because the ones that want to play at your school probably aren't good enough, but that's their highest end reach. But the ones you want are considering UCLA at the same time, considering Washington at the same time, considering Colorado at the same time. It's impossible to be the head coach of an institution that's not one of 13 in this country. And what I mean by one of 13, think i.e. LSU, Tennessee, Alabama, Oklahoma, USC. If you're not one of those 30 schools, 40 schools in those Power 4 conferences, whatever the number is, you're living in a world where you're never going to, it's impossible to keep a lot of the players on your roster year to year. And it's ruining college sports. Here's what the players had to say, which I think is going to be a surprise to the people. To the credit of the quarterback and the credit of the wide receiver, they are actually 2 dudes that understand what this is about more than just the money. Quarterback Braden Fowler said, at the end of the day, I'm a 20-year-old kid with higher goals in life than making money in college. And $600,000 is a lot. It's not a lot. But I bet this kid just set himself up for some endorsements that he didn't even think were going to come from him being a great person right here. And that is 100% the comment. It's not about making money in college for this kid. It's about getting to the NFL. Now, that could be naive. That could be stupid. I'm not here to judge the decision for him to take or not take money. I'm here to judge the morals and the values of people around college football. And how about the loser, that is going to be doing that illegally? Like, dude, come on, man. Like, if the kid's in the transfer portal and you want to go fucking offer him whatever you want. Offer him $600,000. You can do whatever you want. But to offer him money to enter the transfer portal while he's currently in a program, that's just not right. It's not right, and it should not be happening. And that is the problem with this now. We've entered a world where, like me, I don't want to send any of my players on the road anymore. None. I don't want them in the summertime going to play in a league in Massachusetts or New Hampshire or Florida or Myrtle Beach. No. because the amount of stories I've heard of coaches on the road saying, oh, just lost this guy. Why? Well, I don't know, because he was playing for this coach in this summer league team, and he probably told him, yo, if you enter the transfer portal, you become a Division I baseball player. And the kid's like, okay. And that's it. And it is happening everywhere, and it is ruining the institution of college athletics. And truthfully, I also think it's going to start to hurt lower level college athletics. I think that you're going to continue to see more schools cut programs, cancel athletics, because there's no point. Because unfortunately, there's no loyalty, there's no retention in the sports anymore, unless you're a top 1% in this country. Braden Fowler also had this to say: it was how I was raised. I didn't come here to make money. I came here to win games. Awesome stuff. Wide receiver Troy Horton said, my ultimate goal is not NIL in college. It's the next level. So just nice to see two dudes that have some type of feel and understanding and love and respect for their coach. Love and respect for their coach. And I'm not saying you shouldn't transfer. No. I'm not saying you shouldn't accept NIL. No. Understand what I'm saying here. It's like the Chris Rock statement from Rush Hour. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Man, nobody understands the words that are coming out of your mouth, right? Him and Jackie Chan. That's what I'm trying to explain. Do you understand that I am not against NIL? I am not against free transfer. I am against losing the foundation of college sports because loyalty, integrity has gone out the window. From coaches and players. It's both sides. The guys illegally recruiting players currently in programs, and then the players that always think the grass is greener and don't have loyalty to the people that recruited them. It's both sides. I'm not on one side here. I'm saying both sides are wrong. And shout out to these two dudes at Colorado State for having that integrity to stay and be loyal to their head ball coach, who, by the way, Norvell, awesome dude. I would play for him in a heartbeat. You saw the ticker going down at the bottom. I'd love to know your thoughts on this, because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of different thoughts on the NIL. I really do. Some are fully for it. Screw it. Coaches leave all the time. Some are not. I'd love to know your thoughts. The Rome Show on Instagram, Twitter. Oops. I do that once a show. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook maybe, and all the good stuff. And then the Rome Show 1 at gmail.com. We love that from you. Okay, here is the deal, ladies and gentlemen. As we do at the midpoint of this show, we are going to take a commercial break. All right. And then when we get back from the commercials, we will talk NFL and we will talk a little MLB update, plus your daily bananas. Our guys at 12 Ounce Sports wrote in. They must be listening live. Go on, take the money and run. I don't disagree. But sometimes taking the money could be good in the short term, but the long-term move was to stay. These two dudes together could become top 25 picks in the NFL next year out of Colorado State and get signed for $25 million, whereas they could transfer to, let's say that's Arkansas, right? Let's just call it an SEC school. It's called Arkansas. They go to Arkansas. They make $600,000 next year, but in the pantheon of their conference, because Arkansas is so low comparative to other SEC schools, maybe they just get slaughtered. They get injured, not a good offensive line, whatever the case is. Now, all of a sudden, they might be at the SEC making $600,000, but their productivity over the year not as good. Whereas they see on writing on the wall, dude, we could be elite in this locker room. The two of us could be elite. Why can't we go out from Colorado State like we've watched all these kids from all these other random schools in America go get drafted and make it to the league? I mean, Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks in the league out of Wyoming. So I do understand wanting to take the money, but we're not inside that locker room. We're not inside that facility. There's a solid chance that that kid's looking at it going, long term, this is better for me. Short term, yeah. Long term, though, this place might lead me to being a 20-year NFL vet, and that $600,000 turned into $600 million, and I'd be chilling. So thank you for that, right? And we love that. Like, comment, YouTube, Twitter, right? Shoot us a Gmail. You do know. I wrote it on the bottom. It's easy. Wrote it on the bottom. You know what you got to do. So, all right, peoples, we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we are going to come back, and we are going to chat more about the National Football League. Rome Show here, 12OutSports.com, Dingo TV 217.
12-Ounce Sports has a new home for betting. BetUS.com is the official place to place your bets and support 12-Ounce Sports. All you have to do is go to BetUS.com and type in the promo code 120Z and you'll instantly get a deposit bonus. This is America's favorite sports book. And remember, always gamble responsibly.
The Rome Show here, 12OutSports.com, Dingo TV channel 217. I hope I don't got to keep telling you that, but I hope it imprints into your mind. You should tell your friends. I was telling our fearless leader yesterday of 12OunceSports.com that we are the future. And I think everyone understands that. Streaming platforms, not necessarily a radio dial anymore. You know, YouTube, social medias, right? All the things. We've been doing it. So rather than, you know, say, I missed this show because I wasn't in my car to pop on the radio, or I don't have a radio in my house. It doesn't matter. Plug your phone into your car, Apple CarPlay. If you're a Samsung person, it don't matter. It's called an aux, AUX. Plug your phone into your car. Bam. It's like Samsung CarPlay, if you want to call it that, right? At your house, everyone's got a Bluetooth speaker. Pop that thing on. What I like to do is I like to put my headphones in, Bluetooth it to my phone, and then I'm rolling around cleaning my house while the gambling guy's giving me some insight into what bananas I should be putting down this week. So many ways. But if you just go to 12OunceSports.com, it'll show you every way you can listen to the show at the simplest of forms. So do that. Share it with a friend. We appreciate you. Let's continue around the wide world of sports. So Major League. Wow. You know, I got to say this. If there's a show or a day when it seems like I have a lot more dyslexia in my verbiage or my words or my sentences than others, it's usually a day when I got a lot going on. Now, there's not a lot going on per se, but because I'm using my new system today and I'm thinking really hard on what I want to do, sometimes that just results in some weird word slips. But I've always been of the thought that I don't really care because that's who I am. That's a part of our show. That's our entertainment value. And man, if you saw me at practice, there are some times when in the best way possible, it's not like, or maybe I am a bad coach. I don't know it yet, but I'll say something and my guys will be looking at me like, oh, actually, you know what? It'll sound like this. And I'm like, did they hear me? So then I'm like, all right, let me say it again. And I say it again. Like, oh yeah, coach. All right, word. And then usually one of them will be like, coach, like, you know, the first time you described that, you were like, I need 2 sets of 50. Instead of saying 2 sets of 50, you're like, I need 50 sets of 2. And we were like, what? 50 sets of 2. So we were really just trying to process the fact that you really pretty much told us we were going to be here for the next 4.5 hours. So this is a human thing. So I'm going to say sorry now for it, and I hope you understand. I think the Vikings understand that they don't have a starting quarterback right now outside of a one Sam Darnold. And I heard this yesterday, and I kind of want to copyright this conversation from another set of people that I was listening to on the radio yesterday. All right. And it just kind of sparked my interest. I was listening to some fantasy football podcast, came out of nowhere. Like, when you listen to a podcast and another one just starts. It must have been about the Vikings or whatever. Long and short, they started talking about Sam Darnold, and it just kind of got my mind going that, like, this is the chance for Sam Darnold, right? If you think about quarterbacks, bottom line is who they get drafted by, where they enter this league is a huge factor into where their success is. So the first 3 years of Sam Darnold's career, okay, it was the New York Jetropolitans. The next 2 years of Sam Darnold's career, it was the Carolina Panthers. Okay. The 6th year of his career, it was the 49ers, where he barely played a down, but they went to the Super Bowl. He watched great quarterback play. He learned from great offensive minds. Okay. So now he signs with the Minnesota Vikings. And you have to believe for Sam Darnold, he's like, all right, I'm signing with the Vikings. Maybe have a chance to start. They draft J.J. McCarthy. You're like, all right, I got to try and beat a rookie out. You're probably believing they're going to go with J.J. McCarthy, at least on the surface, on paper. That would make the most sense, unless Sam Darnold had a ridiculously good camp. Well, now none of that matters anymore. Why? Because J.J. McCarthy's out for the season. Now Sam Darnold's the starting quarterback. And you look at it and you say, of the 6 years of Sam Darnold's career in the National Football League, this is the shot. This is it. Best weapons, best coaching, best offensive line. It's, even though it's not like great, but it's way better than what he's dealt with 5 of the last 6 years when he was actually behind the center. Best everything. Outside of the Niners, this is probably the best organization. Like, don't include the Niners because he was literally just a backup that time. But 5 of the 6 years he's been in the league as a starter, this is the best organization he's been in. So the bottom line is, there is no other time for Sam Darnold than now to prove to this league that he can actually be a starting quarterback. And 8 games into this season, I think we're going to know, let's give it 10, whether or not this is the end of the line for starting opportunities for Sam Darnold. Do I think he could be a backup for the next 15 years? Absolutely. But in terms of being a starter, I've been calling it the Alex Smith effect, 6 or 7 years, then you turn into the guy that people want for the next 10 or 12 years, right? This is the chance. So we'll see if it happens for Sam Darnold in Minnesota. We continue. Russell Wilson making his first start in the preseason this week for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to be interesting. Just a friendly reminder, and this is all I wrote this down for. It's a Justin Fields, yes, versus Russell Wilson battle. So interesting to see what happens with the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh. I've been watching Hard Knocks recently, speaking of those Chicago Bears, and I love it. Okay. I actually recently just binged watched the 4 or 5 episodes of the New York Giants off-season Hard Knocks. And now I'm on to the Chicago Bears Hard Knocks. And I got to say, I love it. Seriously, I love it. It is one of the most entertaining Hard Knocks. I loved the off-season Hard Knocks. Truthfully, loved it. Because in my opinion, that is the insight most fans want when they sit and talk randomly all off-season about what a team's going to do. Well, you know what? Now we got the insight. The only problem is you don't get it during the offseason, but who cares? It's so cool to see the way the organization works like that. And it's so cool to see the different factors that just go into drafting, interviewing. You watch the combine. You don't really know what goes inside that room. You find out, right? I like Caleb Williams of the Bears more than I ever liked him. I like the head coach of the Bears more than I ever liked him. That Roma Dunze guy from Washington, love him. Like, you don't know what these guys are like. And then these shows give you some insight. And I've really, really, really enjoyed Hard Knocks. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that next week. I'd like to get Rocky's opinion on the Giants Hard Knocks. So we'll try and get him with that. Plus, I'd like to start working through our fantasy football list here. Okay. Who we picking in what round? In what part of the draft? Like, where's am I 1, am I 5, am I 7? What am I doing here? Where should I go? Who do we think is injury prone? We're going to get to fantasy football next week. Plus, there's some teams streaking in Major League Baseball. I've been mentioning this each show. And right now, the Pirates are bad, losers of 10 in a row. And some are really good. So we got a lot going on in baseball. So that'll be next week. We be breaking down all of those things. Let's get the daily bananas before we get out of here today. Went 1-1 yesterday. Mets lost to the Oakland Athletics 7-6. I swear, and this is why we're doing what we're doing today. I swear that when I pick the worst team in the league, they always somehow find a way to win. So we're testing out the theory tonight. But I did have the Detroit Tigres plus 1.5 with the Mariners. They won 2-1. So we went 1-1 yesterday, and that was my point about the hot and the not. We took the Tigers today because they're playing really, really well. So today we're going to take 3 bananas on the board. The Pirates versus the Mariners. We're going to take the Pirates on the money line, okay? I was going to pick the Mariners, and I said, you know what? This is stupid. Every time I pick against the worst team in the league currently or long-term, I've always found a way. Oh, no, music changed. What happened there? I've always found a way to lose. So today, I'm going with the worst team. I'm taking the team with the 10-game losing streak. So give me the Pittsburgh Pirates to get off the schneid. They're getting off the schneid against the Mariners, who have also lost 3 in a row. So it's really losers of 13 in a row playing in one game. So somebody's got to give. Paulie Skeens is on the board. I mean, the mound. Give me Paul Skeens. Give me the Pirates victory. Stros, Chi Sox. This is where I'll flip the script. Give me the Stros minus 1.5. The White Sox are just so historically bad, and the Stros are playing good baseball. And then, hey, remember that aforementioned Paul Skeens? They have him at 8.5 Ks. Take the under. He's averaging 7.6 Ks per start this year. So we got Pirates money line, Stros minus 1.5, and Skeens under 8.5 Ks. That is the Rome Show here. 12ouncesports.com. Dingo TV 217. We are out for the weekend, okay? But I hope the people really, really enjoyed their day today. I hope you have a great Friday. I hope you tune back in on Monday. I hope you enjoyed this show so much you share it with a friend, and then that means you tune in next week. But until then, I am Andrew Romanella saying peace.
Thank you for listening.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sports book, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.